On the Choose to Think podcast, I will encourage and empower you to engage and optimize your best thought life in practical, meaningful ways so that you can live day by day in joy, peace, and God's purpose despite all externals. This is Victoria, and welcome back to the Choose to Think podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I know that I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed or out of sorts when I start dropping balls because generally I don't tend to drop balls. I have my lists, I have my day timer, I have my calendar my digital calendar that I use. I put sticky notes up all over my desk just in case there's something really important like a deadline. I have a class that launches tomorrow from Spalding University, and I've been working really hard on that. And so I'll put reminders for myself all over the place, and generally I do well. But when I start missing things, that's always a signal to me that something is amiss and I'm probably doing a little bit too much in my life. Yeah, I've just been writing a book, right? So that's something. But anyway, I had an interview scheduled with a gal, and we ultimately decided on a Tuesday. But when I sent her the Google Calendar link, or a link for her digital calendar and the quote invitation to the actual interview, I put Wednesday on that instead of Tuesday that we had agreed upon. And then I wrote in my day timer Wednesday. So I had everything marked for Wednesday. Why I changed, only God knows. I have no idea why I did that. But anyway, I just goofed. And so she's there on Tuesday waiting for it. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm not, I got it probably 10 or 15 minutes after the time that we had originally scheduled. And anyway, she was so gracious to me. You're going to hear from her later on this month, the month of December. But at any rate, I thought I'm going to do something that if it helps me, I'm quite certain that it's going to help you. And things are really starting to rev up for the holiday season. I certainly hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and that was a real blessing time for you. And I know that right after Thanksgiving, here we go, right? The countdown to Christmas. And I'll tell you that I have not purchased one Christmas gift, which also has me quite unnerved because normally I have my shopping just about done by now. Maybe a few last minute things to do, but not so this year. So I think that's weighing a little bit on my mind. And so I know that if you're anything like I am, you may also be in need of a few simple reminders to help you navigate the December rapids with maybe a little bit more ease. Taking good care of yourself is really the perfect place to start. And I'm telling you, I'm trying to do all of these things. And I want to pass your way 15 tips that I came up with to keep you healthy and happy during December. I'd like to share an excerpt from a little gift that I have for you. It's called the Ultimate Christmas List Making and Survival Kit. That's a mouthful. It's a free 44-page download, and it's just waiting for you. It is chock full of lists, project ideas, a few recipes, and family traditions and favorite things that we did, games that we played, all of this that I kept literally for decades. Literally, I had all of these things for decades, various documents on my computer. And a couple years ago, I thought, gosh, I would love to share all this content because it's really helpful information. It'll help someone stay organized, prioritize. I've got like a count back sheet if you've got a special meal you're preparing or an event in your life in December, you can kind of count back. I've got to-do lists. I've got games for the kids, little charade clippings like paper, little pieces of paper you can cut into strips and make a charades game, a scavenger hunt at the mall. What else? You name it. It's there. And it's really just things that we have done in my family. Little gift tags, maybe crafts that you can do if you have grandchildren. Matter of fact, I've already done with one of my grandchildren. We made the salt dough ornament recipe. We made that, and we made I don't know how many ornaments. They are just darling. We calculated that we spent about 6 hours. She was over here with me spending the night not too long ago, and that was one of the crafts that we did. And as a matter of fact, we're still not quite finished. We have to put the final touches on some of them, but it was so much fun. And all of that I've wrapped up, put together for you, hoping, you're a brain changer like I am, and we really have to kind of keep things in perspective and do what we can to stay organized and to just do the best that we possibly can. So these are like little hacks or shortcuts, ready-made lists that will help you get the perspective I think that you need. For one, when I started looking back, I've revised it, and when I started looking back at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such good stuff. I need to do all of this. But with my current state of mind, I'm just feeling a little weary and tired with the book and the different projects I have coming up. I want to get that entire devotional up on Audible, and I want to read it. So I'm going to try to do that this week. I don't know if I can get it in, but that's on my big to-do list. And then I'm playing pickleball like crazy. I'm loving the exercise and the pickleball in my group. And we have a tournament coming up out of state, and just so many awesome, good, fun things going on right now. But sometimes I struggle to juggle all of it. So I even needed the refresher and the reminders that came from this Ultimate Christmas List Making and Survival Kit. And it's really going to minister to me as well, even though these are all my things that I've done for so long. I just needed the reminder. So I hope that you get your free copy. It's like an all-in-one stop or shop for Christmas ideas and notions. And all you have to do is click on the link that's provided for you in the show notes. And before we get to those 15 tips that I'm going to share with you today, I want to talk just a teeny bit more about the devotional. Choose to think, find peace, joy, hope, health, and freedom. And guess what? This is like breaking news for me. It is now available for pre-buy. I think that's what we call it on Amazon. It actually, so far, it's scheduled to release on December the 6th. So if you pre-buy it for your Kindle on Amazon, the actual devotional will drop into your account on December 6th. But that's also when the paperback version is going to come out. To say that I'm excited over this might just be the understatement of the year. I've spent untold hours crafting 365 daily devotionals, and each of those devotionals, it starts with where we want to start our mornings or any time in the day. We want to have that focus on a scriptural truth. So I pull out a scripture verse, a Bible verse, and that's kind of the theme for the day. And then right after that, you're going to see what I call an I choose affirmation, because we do get to choose a lot of the things that we do, that we say, and that we think, that we feel. We get to choose those things in our lives, and certainly we get to choose how to act and how to behave based on our thoughts and our feelings and emotions and mindsets. So to give you the power, help you to feel empowered, it may say for one given day, I choose hope, I choose freedom, I choose sacrifice. So there are several I choose affirmations. Well, there are 365, one for each day. And again, it's tied back into the Bible verse. After the I choose affirmation, we go right into a story, a practical application, something educational. I did a ton of research for this devotional because I'm all into brain science and neuroscience and how our brains function and how our mind actually influences our brain. It's what the Bible's been saying all along. The Bible tells us to take our thoughts captive and to be transformed through the renewing of our minds. And that is now exactly what's happening, what neuroscientists and educators are proving, that our mind has such influence literally over our brain. And the more we repeat healthy thoughts, the more we change our brain. We fire and wire together neurons that create new neural pathways in our brains, and it kind of becomes our default mode then. And believe me, you can listen on the show, so many podcast episodes on the YouTube channel. And by the way, if you're listening over on YouTube, please click like and even subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you there. We're trying to build listenership there as well. But I speak a whole lot about our thoughts. Obviously, that's the ministry. I'm in the Choose to Think business. And so because I'm in the Choose to Think business, I'm never off the cuff for choosing to think. I'm always called to the carpet on that. And I'm so grateful that I am, because choosing to think really changed my life, especially back in 2016 when I was coming through a deep depression and a lot of life changes, a lot of stuff going on in my life. And then fast forward to today, I continue to use the patterns that I've learned, and I apply those to my life even today. So choosing to think is huge in my book. As a matter of fact, after the practical application, or the story, or the science that I share with you, some of the research every day, then I'm going to give you a couple of journal prompts. If you're a journaler, you keep a journal, or you like to think, or maybe you can do the devotional in a small group or Sunday school class. You can do it with a family member, a friend, and just say, hey, let's go through this devotional next year together. Starts January 1, 2022. Maybe you can go through it together and then meet once a week and talk about what you learned, your thoughts, your takeaways, and your actual progress. And then finally, every day, and in and of itself, each day is only about 5 minutes. It may sound like a little bit longer. You could certainly stretch it out, especially if you're writing the answers to all the reflection questions. But I also end with a prayer, kind of transparent, where I try to be really open. The body may kind of say, do this, don't do that, or try this, don't, it may be more admonishing, but the prayer is quite transparent, admitting that we're only human and that we do our best, and asking the Lord to help us with all of these things. So also, throughout the devotional, you are going to learn the 7 R's for living your best thought life. That's my signature method or process to get you from point A to point Z, to help you learn exactly how to choose to think, basically, to find optimal emotional health and freedom and peace and joy, to really find those things and walk it out in your life. I know it's easier said than done, but it's the very process or method that I used in order to overcome a whole lot of harmful and toxic thinking. And I know it's going to serve you well as well. As a matter of fact, if you purchase the book, there's a link inside for an infographic, it's a 1-page printable infographic, and it has the 7 R's. So you can use it as a bookmark, you can stick it on your fridge, and it basically gives you a quick reminder, oh yeah, these are the 7 steps that I'm going to do every single day in this process. So you can really dig deep and make this devotional more than just some thoughts about God each day, more than and that's would be enough, obviously, but more than just, okay, like I'm confessing here, because sometimes I read devotionals and I'm like, oh, that's nice, and I'm just to get through. But this can actually be transformative in your life. And I think it's better with a partner, because then you can have accountability and encouragement and inspiration along the way and share your takeaways. But certainly you can do it on your own, and make sure you take advantage of that free infographic with the link inside the book if you purchase it. So that's just a little bonus gift for you to help you in this whole process. And I really, now it's the calm after the storm of writing, and the intensity of putting to paper all of this information and making it palatable and enjoyable and inspirational for you. I had you in mind every single step of the way, and the prayers that have gone up have been so numerous. So I hope you step on over there to Amazon, if you have a Kindle, you can pre-buy it. I'll be reminding you a lot. I'm going to try to keep going, because now the real hard part is, right, marketing the book. So I'm going to do the best I can. But on the other hand, sometimes I just say, you know what, Lord, this is all yours anyway. You do the heavy lifting here, because I'm just kind of like a one-man show over here, and I've done the work, and I did it for an audience of one. I did it as a show to glorify my Heavenly Father and to share with others something that might be helpful and that might encourage them in their Christian journey as well. So I hope you get your copy of that book. But okay, so now let's go on to those 15 tips to stay sane, basically, during this holiday season. And here we go, during the holidays. Number 1, do not neglect your exercise routine, even when you think you don't have time. Let's just square that away. Because what do we cut when we're in a hurry, when we're rushed, when we just don't have time? We start cutting things when we're taking care of ourselves, right? And exercising is a form of self-care, and it also releases a whole lot of stress. So do not neglect your exercise, even if you think you don't have the time, because in the end, you're going to be so glad you did. You're releasing really good feel-good hormones, and you're releasing a whole lot of stress when you exercise. Now, tip number 2 goes kind of with that. Why don't you de-stress by rebounding? Another word for that is jumping on a small trampoline or riding your exercycle. If it's getting a little chilly or windy or rainy to go outside, make sure you have some ways that you can actually exercise in your house. Sometimes I even do little videos on YouTube. I like to do walking videos, and Leslie Sansone, I've watched her a gazillion times, and it's fun, and I'll just, pull out make room on the carpet, and I'll just do my indoor walking, but it's also your different movements, and it really feels good. I love to do that. So try something different. Try something like that, even if you do have to switch. And by the way, even 5 minutes of exercise, just 5 minutes, is amazing for you. All right. Tip number 3, get plenty of fresh air. Take frequent walks outdoors to soak in the sunshine and all that good vitamin D, which is a super boost for your immunity as we're coming into the cold and flu season. So don't miss that at all. Get that fresh air in. Even if it's a short, brisk walk, it's okay. It's helping you. Number 4, ditch the sugar. And listen, if you're like I am, we got to avoid justifying overeating and indulging because, quote, it's the holiday. Why do we do that to ourselves? We sabotage because we think, we deserve it, or this is, something special, and we go overboard. But if you can just be moderate with your portions and maybe just take one bite, trust me, your body and your brain will thank you later. Sugar is just one of the worst things we could do to our body and our brain. It's just not good for us. And there's nothing saying you can't have a bite of Aunt Glinda's fudge. Just have one bite or one small piece, but cut recipes in half also. You don't have to make what you made maybe when your kids were at home. Just cut back and enjoy it, but just in smaller portions, and maybe you can gift the rest. All right. Number 5, when you're attending parties or potluck meals, take something healthy, such as veggie trays with hummus or fresh fruit platters. That's so easy. Yes, I know you have the $1 million recipe, chocolate galore, and the avalanche cake, and oh my goodness, all that yummy stuff. But switch. Let's switch. Let's choose to think about our health, and let's analyze what we think about healthy foods. We think that if we don't get all the sweet, rich, decadent stuff, that it's just not quite the same. But we need to actually reframe those thoughts into something that is a little bit healthier for us. And let's begin to delight in the fruit and veggie trays instead. Number 6, don't wait until Monday. quote, Monday or January 1 to start making healthy dietary choices and changes. Picture a lifestyle change instead, not a diet full of restrictions. Did you know that you could develop a craving for optimal health and vibrancy? Did you know that? You can actually begin to crave that kind of lifestyle instead of perhaps the lifestyle you're now living. Number 7, avoid treating yourself with food indulgences. Instead, go for a manicure, a pedicure, or get you a new dress or a new handbag, something funsy like that. But we often think, I'm going to treat with food, but we don't have to treat with food. There are a lot of other things that we can do instead. Number 8, connect with friends in meaningful ways. Why not, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed but you value the community and you're torn, you need those connections, then go ahead and meet with a friend, but make it a purposeful visit, like exchange party ideas. Matter of fact, I just did that recently with my friend Pamela. We talked about, I needed some party game ideas and different things, or you can go bargain shopping together, something like that, to where you're kind of double dipping. You're doing something you need to do during this season, but you're also staying connected with a friend, and you have that valuable human relationship and time well spent. So you're feeding your soul as well. Number 9, avoid the lines and shop online. Okay, that's an easy one. You probably already have been doing that, but be sure to include gift receipts for easy returns. Number 10, go non-traditional for thoughtful gifts. For example, you can write letters of appreciation to your loved ones, your children, and you can include inside an I'll buy you lunch coupon for later in the year. You can print it on pretty holiday paper, roll it up, and tie a ribbon around it, and you have such a meaningful gift. The great thing about that is, if you're kind of like I am right now and you haven't even started shopping and you're feeling really behind the 8 ball almost, because you know other events that are happening in December and all the other things you need to do, and shopping, you're like, when am I ever going to do that? Even shopping online, though it saves time, it still requires time. And for someone like me, I love to write letters. I love to write, so I could just write a whole bunch of letters and do this, and then later, when things aren't as hectic as December, I could go, my loved one can cash in on the lunch, and then I could treat them to lunch. Doesn't that sound fun? Okay, number 11, even though it's cooler outside, don't neglect your water intake. And I say that because it's so much easier for me to drink water in the summer. Like when I'm outdoors, I'm sweating more, or playing pickleball and it's just so hot outside, I'm really replenishing often. But when it starts getting cold, it's more of a struggle for me to get my 80 ounces in. Now remember that you're supposed to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. So what does that mean? If you weigh 150, let's say, you should be consuming about 75 ounces of water. And it's certainly okay to go over that. Water is so good for you, your brain, your body, your joints, your muscles, all your organs, your digestion, everything benefits when you're drinking water. So don't neglect that, especially during this time. You might even say, hey, before I can have that special cup of tea or healthy hot cocoa, I'm going to make sure I have all of my water finished first. I know I do that for myself. Otherwise, I would start choosing all these hot drinks and I would eliminate, I wouldn't get my water in. Okay, number 12, go minimalist with your decorating to lessen any stress you're feeling. Put a few swags out, like a swag, like the greenery that you can get, tie a pretty ribbon on it and just hang it over a door. You can do that. You can find a wreath, maybe put up your nativity scene, and then that's it. If you want to go a little bit further, but still kind of minimalist, you can buy a pine-scented candle, put the Christmas music on in the background, have that playing, and there you have it. It's cozy and it's a festive holiday atmosphere. You could even put up a topiary. Let's say if you want some lights, put up a topiary that already is adorned with lights to just brighten your favorite room. And so even if the lights are out in the room and you go in there, you still get that beautiful, beautiful glow of a little teeny tree. So something like that, that's what I do. I did that last year, and I think I'm going to do it again this year because it was so simple, and I tried to shift my focus from all the hubbubby things to what's really most important. And of course, that's Jesus Christ, the greatest gift of all kind that humankind has ever received. And then second to that would be spending time with my loved ones, my family, and I want to focus on them. Yes, I want to have traditions. Yes, I still like doing certain things. I mean, hang the stockings if you want. But at this point in my life, for some reason, I just feel so minimalistic, and I just want to do simple things, but I don't want to compromise on all of the tradition and all of the feeling that comes with Christmas. I want to have a little bit just in smaller measure, kind of like my fudge. I don't really want to give up the fudge, okay? But I'm not making as much anymore, and I'm just going to have a bite so I can really relish in how my Aunt Glenda made that fudge and just what that means to me and to my family. Number 13, you can take breaks often during the day by working puzzles. Try to rest and relax that way. Or maybe you can watch traditional Christmas movies. Do you like the Hallmark movies? Some of us watch those. I've been watching them in Spanish, so I can kind of double dip there and get my Spanish. And speaking of resting and taking breaks and all this self-care, remember your breathing. Take really deep breaths and then through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Do that often to kind of just give you that sense of calm. You can even, I'm thinking back on the scented candles, you could also do all of your essential oils, get those more holiday cinnamon, nutmeg, and all of those flavors going in your house as well. But when you're breathing those in and just rebooting with simplicity, I think that's really going to help you. I know it's going to help me. Number 14, why not use paper plates and dishes to save a bit of time? That's so easy to do. And okay, we don't want to do that all year round, but maybe just for a season, we can compromise and try some paper plates to save us a bit of time. And the last one, tip number 15, is don't skimp on sleep, even when you have so much to do. They say that 7 to 9 hours is optimal. Sleeping is optimal for your health, both your emotional and your physical health. So make sure you're turning everything off, get your phone out of the room, make sure it's dark and that you're comfortable. Keep a cool room temperature and be snuggled under there and get some good rest. That's going to help you a lot. So I hope these 15 tips have been encouraging to you and helpful to you. And I will close out this particular episode with a note of gratitude. I'm so grateful for you, your support. I would love it if you got that book, if you bought the devotional. It would just please my heart to no end, and I can't actually wait to get it into your hands. And I appreciate your support. And then if you want that whole ultimate Chris list making guide, that survival kit, be sure to snag it. This is just one page of 44 in that whole kit. So I hope you take advantage of that. And I will say God bless you. Thank you so much for your support. All right. God bless you.
And that's a wrap, Brain Changer. Thank you so much for tuning in. And say, if you like what you hear, please consider sharing this link to the show with a friend or a family member who you think might be encouraged by the inspiring and hope-filled messages that I try to put out every single week. So thank you so much for your support. And until next time, Dios primero y que Dios te bendiga. Ciao.